Hi folks, Mythic ODM here. Today I want to review the Lost Omens Divine Mysteries. For full transparency, I was given a review PDF copy, but this video is not sponsored, and I'm free to say what I wish about this offering from Paizo. This book is 320 pages and is $79.99 USD, while the PDF is $29.99 from their website. Firstly, this is a lore book, not a rule book per se. Now, back in my day, we used to call this a splat book. It has a ton of lore, but it does have a few new rules, such as an archetype for the cleric, some oaths for the champion, some oracle inspirations, witch patrons, spells, alternate domains for clerics and champions, as well as a high-level dedication, which for those new to Pathfinder, that is what we use for multiclassing. I'll explain those later in the video. This is the remastered update of Gods and Magic. To me, this is one of the best books to come out in the last few months by Paizo. When Paizo launched the remastered series about a year back, the religions of Golarion, which is Pathfinder's world, were changed to no longer reflect the axis of alignments, such as law, chaos, good and evil. They now had edicts and anathemas. Basically, these are what the gods believed their worshippers should hold dear to their core being and what they would find morally reprehensible. A few months later, it was announced that the God's Reign would happen in the world, and there were many blog posts about which god may die and which would be safe. In the end, it was revealed that Gorum, the god of battle, was the one who was killed. There's a novel about God's Reign, as well as the War of the Immortals rulebook that speaks more on these consequences. But that led to this book, Divine Mysteries. This book is part of the Lost Omens lore, and it really delves into each of the 20 main gods, as well as many, many lesser-known gods, aspects, and demigods of Golarion, what they now represent, including their edicts and anathema. This book is partially written as a narrative of Yavali, a psychopomp of Pharasma, who also wrote the blog post regarding the God's Reign prophecies. In Chapter 1, Yavali speaks of the life, ascendancy, and death of a god. This, again, is a great read, but nothing most players will care too much about, but it is very well written, though. Chapter 2 is the meat of the book when it comes to the lore, encompassing pages 34 to 114. Each core god gets a 4-page spread that details so much of their lives, areas of influence, their church, relationship with other gods, and more. This is where the players will spend the bulk of their reading if they choose to. It's here that Paizo really shows their lore prowess, and I absolutely love this section. Page 117 shows the connections in a follow-the-line map. It shows who is an ally, enemy, and even lovers, which I think is a fun addition. Chapter 3 is called The Other Gods. This explains other regional or minor gods around the planet. It starts page 124 and goes to page 163, with each god getting a single page. This section is still chock full of information, and I spent quite some time learning about the lesser gods of the area that my Kingmaker group is currently adventuring in. There's a small section outlining what the Avatar spell does for those who can cast it, and what form they would take for each specific god. Now, these are well balanced and more flavor than any type of in-game power advantage. Each avatar does nearly identical damage, and it just has different various types of cold, electricity, or piercing, and a couple other minor abilities. Chapter 4 really expands the divinities with large groups of beings such as the Atlanti gods or the Sicorian gods, among others. Some of these lesser power groups of gods, such as the Apocalypse Warriors, which are featured in the Kingmaker Adventure Path, which we're currently playing on through my YouTube and Twitch channels, are given a basic overview, with each member getting a couple of paragraphs. These include groups such as Archdevils, the Giant Pantheon, the Goblin Pantheon, and even the great old ones such as Cthulhu. In a Pantheon, gods give part of their power to the Pantheon once, and it forms a pact with others. They usually have a single entry for the group, listing their edicts and anathemas as a group, and then detailing individual members of that Pantheon. As written in the book, covenants have a closer and everlasting bond with each other and can comprise gods, entities such as spirits and elementals, among others. There are covenants that do have deities with common goals, such as the Good Neighbor with Caden Kalian, Erastil, Household Spirits, Serene, and Torag. A fun quirky one is the Readied Strike. This covenant comprises intelligent weapons, sites of significant battles, and spirits of fallen soldiers. The Cosmic Caravan, which is a featured pantheon in the Abomination Vaults, is in here as well. These covenants a GM can use to really add some more nuance to their game. Concepts like the Green Faith, laws of morality, and others can add some interesting depth to characters other than just worshipping a specific deity. This is another great read for both players and game masters. There's even a page dedicated to Atheists and Free Agents. Chapter 5 gets into more of the crunch and mechanics of the game than just the flavor. This is where you're going to find the new spells and additional domains that some deities now have access to. This is also where we get the new class archetype for the Cleric. the Harbinger. This is an amped up war priest, focusing even more on weapons and armor. They have an extremely limited spell repertoire, and it drops lower level ranks as the character increases. You can see in this chart that by 5th level, the Harbinger loses the ability to use first rank spell slots. You can still cast spells that are in the first rank, but you have no slots for them anymore and have to heighten. Your divine font moves from heals or harms to bless and banes. You do not have doctrines such as the cloistered or war priest. Instead, you have battle creeds. The initial first level battle creed is you're trained in light and medium armor, and you have expert proficiency in fortitude saves. You're trained in martial weapons. If your deity's favored weapon is a simple or even an unarmed attack, you gain the deadly simplicity cleric feat. At 13th level, when you gain the divine defense class feature, you also gain expert proficiency in light and medium armor. So lesser creed at 5th level. You gain expert proficiency with your deity's favored weapon, martial weapons, simple weapons, and unarmed strikes. When you critically succeed at an attack roll using your deity's favored weapon, you apply the weapon's crit specialization effect. Your proficiency rank for your class DC also increases to expert. At 9th level, you gain your moderate creed, and you gain reactive strikes as a cleric feat. At 11th level, you gain your greater creed. Your proficiency ranks for the spell attack modifiers and spell DC statistics increase to expert. Your major creed is at 13th level, and you gain master proficiency with your deity's favored weapon. Your proficiency rank in fortitude saves increases to master, and when you roll a success on a fortitude save, you get a crit result instead. At 15th level, your proficiency rank for your class DC increases to master. Your proficiency rank for will saves increases to master. And finally, at 19th, your proficiency ranks for light and medium armor, as well as unarmored defense, increases to master. Your proficiency rank for your class DC increases to legendary. You're also able to gain the additional feats, such as Vicious Swing at 2nd level, Intimidating Strike is an option at 4th, and Dispel Strikes are an option at 6th level. This chapter also gives options for the champion feats and gives you 3 new or updated oaths. The Mortal Herald is your high-level archetype. This would be something to look at if you're going to be incorporating mythic rules from War of the Immortals. Oracles see some love with the new mysteries, curses, and revelation spells. And one thing I did not expect is a divine archetype for the Investigator. Now, there are some specialty priest archetypes, those being the Resmirian priest, bearing a mask of Resmiri, and the dwarven god Revthun having emissaries, which has gained some new options for patrons, including the rare tagged patron Baba Yaga. And no, this does not give you the abilities of John Wick. Finally, there is the Appendix of the Gods. Now, the PDF is not the best laid out for print unless you have an ultra-wide monitor and you can see them side by side. If you're going down page by page, it's a little rough to read through. But Paizo being Paizo, dropped a 27-page full god list on their website with every god, even dead ones, listed in the most comprehensive way possible. I'll pin a link to this in the comments. Now, the supplement shaved a lot of pages off the Divine Mysteries book. Every god listed shows their title, area of concern, edicts, anathemas, etc. And every main god, covenant, pantheon, etc. has a detailed list in the book. So players can use the book to peruse the list of gods, get some inspiration, then use this supplement to see the crunch details they need to become a worshiper of that god. And that's it of the overview of the Divine Mysteries for today. And I'll see you all in the next video. If you're enjoying this content, want to see more, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Ring the bell for new notifications, and leave a comment below about the gods of Golarion. Which one did your character follow and why? What are your thoughts on the Harbinger class? I'm kind of meh about it. Or, you know what, just leave your favorite emoji and hit share to help this video in the infamous YouTube algorithm. Perhaps join my Patreon or hit the YouTube membership. We'll provide exclusive channels in my Discord, among other perks. In the meantime, and in between time, may all your games be full of myth, mirth, and magic. Bye for now.